On this week's episode, we talk about Fool's Paradise.
And other pop culture news from the week.
This week we saw a couple movies and a couple shows. Actually, one movie, right? There's another movie we didn't see, but we saw a couple shows. First, we saw a Fool's Paradise, or Charlie Day's movie. He wrote, direct, and he starred on this movie. It's not new. We saw on streaming. It had a short run, the theaters, and it was interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't like super blown away. I was really into it for the first half, and then I feel like it probably should have ended sooner, or it just kind of went on longer than I thought. But I liked the ending. Overall, it was very interesting. It was unusual in mostly good ways. I suspect if I was an actor, if I was part of the industry, I would have liked it a lot better, because it really seemed like it was written by and for actors.
Yeah.
It was kind of the vibe that I got.
Okay. Yeah. No, it was funny. It was not crazy funny. It's about a mute character. So there's a lot of silent movie tropes, things, and jokes around it. Yeah, it was funny. It's on. I think it's on Hulu. Yeah, I think it's on Hulu.
A lot of satire of the industry.
Charlie Day, satire or expose?
You know, that's a great question.
There's Charlie Day, Kate Beckinsale, Adrian Brody, and it's about this guy. He comes out of a mental institution in California, in LA, and he goes out on the street doing. The doctor said in the beginning that he has the mind of a 5-year-old or a labradoodle. So he just goes and do whatever everybody else is doing. So
and he never speaks.
Yeah.
Oh, Ken Jeong, that's the other guy.
Ken Jeong, yes.
Other star.
And he looks exactly like one of Hollywood stars that refused to work. So someone grabbed him out of the street. It's like, you're gonna be a star now. So there's that. There's a little bit of, I guess, a Man in the Iron Mask. And what's the other one? There's a rich prince and a
Prince of the Pauper?
Is that what it's called?
There is a story like that where there's like two lookalikes and they switch places.
Yeah. So
shenanigans ensue.
So that altogether, it was Chaplin-esque. His performance is very, very Chaplin-esque, and in the messed up Hollywood that. Things happen because they've been doing this for 100 almost 100 years, and it's messed up. And he got involved into this mess just by going and doing.
He just stumbles in, yeah.
Everybody does.
John Malkovich and Ray Liotta also appear.
True.
One of my favorite aspects of this is that these people are so self-centered. All these other characters are so self-centered, so caught up in themselves. They don't even really seem to notice that he doesn't talk.
Yeah. Kate Beckinsale has conversations with him, has dialogues with him. It's not really dialogues. She's the only one that speaks.
Yeah.
She ends up getting married to him.
Adopting children.
And all the Hollywood standards. And it was interesting. It was not bad. It's not crazy funny. It's a very interesting exercise. It's funny, but again, not crazy funny as the other stuff he's been to, including Sunny. And anything else?
No, not really.
So a Fool's, what's it called?
Fool's Paradise.
Fool's Paradise, which is Hollywood. It's available on Hulu. If you're a fan of Charlie Day, you should check it.
Yeah, check it out. All right, Loki finale?
Yeah, this week was the season 2 series finale of Loki.
Oh, it is the series, so Loki's done?
Yeah, and it was good. It was really good. It's they have the whole play on Ouroboros, the whole the snake eating itself. loop, an eternal loop, and the series culminates with they have to do, and this since the beginning of the season, they have to do something to save, the timeline, the multi-timelines, the universe, the multiverse, the TVA, and the solution for this loop came through, which they've been doing to Loki for a long time now, came through Ultimate Sacrifice. The episode is called Glorious Purpose, which is the very same name of the very first episode of the series, of the show, which is a line that Loki uses on his first appearances.
Yeah.
And
I'm Loki and I'm burdened with glorious purpose.
Yeah.
It's a cool line.
And he finally gets to the glorious purpose, which is very different than there's a lot of self-reference, a lot of references to how we first met him on Thor, and his journey to the Avengers and everything else. Not so much because this Loki actually never been to anything past the Avengers. He was snatched from the timeline.
Right.
But
So
that character evolved into something that he always wanted it, but he had no idea of the sacrifice he had to make for it. And that reminisce line from Sif on the first season is like, you will always be alone, and that's how he ends the show. He becomes, I don't know, like in the books, a supreme god. In the books they called it, and there was a metamorphosis they used in the books from I guess inspired by the movie, because Marvel doesn't know how to make villains, and he was never so quite a villain. So they in the book they remade him into a hero, and in this one he sacrifices and becomes as in the book, even though it's never mentioned on the show, the god of, instead of the god of lies, the god of stories. He sits by Yggdrasil. He controls all the timelines, which might culminate in the future. We'll see. We don't know what the MCU reserves for him, but it might culminate on him becoming the Avenger Prime and all that, and he becoming a hero. It was very interesting. It was a very interesting finale for both seasons altogether. Second season has some moments there that kind of drag, but they tied everything together on the end. That, as Tom Hiddleston said past week, there was a great ending of, he said 14 years. I think it was 14 years or 14 movies. I can't know.
Years sounds right.
I don't know. It was a really good ending for the character. So there's clearly not be a season 3, but the character remains in the pantheon, multiversal pantheon of Marvel. He might come back, and yeah. Okay. But it was good. It was really fun. It's yeah. There's still the villain problem there, because the villain of the show, which ironically is a villain in real life, but it's not still quite a villain in the show. And we're gonna talk about him. But yeah, Loki. It's a lot of references. There's a moment. Just to mention one. There's a moment that Obi, I think that's what they call him, or Boris. He brings the model he made for the whole process. They're gonna get out and go to the loop to fix him. He makes a model and he brings, and then there's a sign that says, what is it?
Like not to scale.
Not to scale. And he said, I only had time to have one coat of painting, which is straight from Back to the Future.
That's right.
Dr. Brown. There's a model of the town. I was like, this is not to scale. I only had time to. So there's a lot of this fun time travel movies, fiction references. In the end, it was good. It was a success for Marvel on that day, since Marvel had a terrible week. It had a big fail on the same day. We're going to talk more about that concerning the Marvels.
Yeah, but before we get to that, let's talk about a couple shows we really enjoyed. First, The Old Man.
The Old Man, again, not a new show. It's available on Hulu for quite some time. It's an FX show. FX doing a terrific job with their shows.
They pretty consistently deliver.
Short and sweet and very well written, very well produced and brought to life in the person of Jeff Bridges, John Lithgow, that we believe are the Old Man until we believe the Old Man is someone else. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, so okay, it works in different levels, and
it does.
And in the end we realize it's like, it's a spy thriller, but the spies or super spies, as you may, they're old, and they done. But their past comes and bring them back, and they have to deal with the consequences of what they did, and it goes beyond. The show has one season, but it's renewed. It's coming for a new one. We don't know when, but
which is good because the cliffhanger was terrible, and it does end with like a solid, good old-fashioned cliffhanger.
So is it terrible or is it good? What's a good cliffhanger?
That's a good question. A good cliffhanger is terrible because it leaves you with that feeling of hanging off a cliff, which is A, very exciting, but B, also just like, I need closure. And it gives you none. So it keeps things going right until the very end. Like you said, it's a spy thriller, and so at first it seems like some very familiar stuff, kind of Jason Bourne, like, this ex-spy is being hunted by his government. So it feels like, okay, we've kind of seen this, but then there's like these other themes, like that these are really old guys and how that's impacting everything and like their priorities, their motivations, and the way that like aging has influenced all this, and like family and legacy, all these other great themes. And then the story just gets way more complex than you thought it would be. It's working on levels. It's really fun.
Yeah, and it's really good. In writing, it's something acting and writing. The first episodes, there's a lot of conversations in a phone call. You don't really know who he's talking to. It's like he's sitting on the car and it's like everything relying on the writing. It's very good.
Yeah, it is really well written. Something else they're doing very successfully is like throughout the show, at least for me, I've never been quite sure who I could trust. And it's not because of like they're not being sneaky with anything. They've just written really complex characters living in a really complicated, messy world. And so, okay, at first you're like, okay, good guy, bad guy. Like bad guy, good guy. I don't know. And it kind of goes back and forth, and again, in very interesting, very compelling ways.
Yeah, even the victims, on this present time, the victim, she twisted things and do something to the protagonist. It was like, wow, that girl is awful. But anyways, it's something you have to watch, you have to see. Yeah. It's very entertaining. It's on Hulu. It's FX. It's The Old Man with Jeff Bridges, John Lithgow. The girl from Arrested Development, maybe. I can't remember her name, and she has a very
She has a name. I'm sure it's a great name, but she will always be.
Not sure
maybe.
It's a great name, but yeah, it's she's doing something different. She's doing good, and yeah, you should check it. The Old Man.
Very good.
And last of the things we saw. This one is actually brand new. There's only 2 episodes out. It's called
A Murder at the End of the World.
Oh, and this is so good. It's a murder mystery. We have what's the name of the detective on A Modern the Orient Express?
Oh, Hercule Poirot.
Hercule Poirot-esque, Agatha Christie-esque story.
It really is, but they're so sneaky about it that it didn't even occur to me that like this is the old trope, because we've got an amateur detective who's like not connected with the police force or anything, and a gathering of like fabulously wealthy, fascinating people, and a murder takes place. Like, it's the old trope, but it's dressed up in such a it's dressed up in a very fun modern way that it doesn't feel like we've done it before.
Yeah, and there's elements of the show that feels like sometimes it feels like she's Alice and she fell through the hole on this wonderful different world. We have the traditional butler from this type of novels and stories, but this one is an AI butler, and we have Clive Owen. We have Wiki. I can't remember her name, but she was on The Crown as young Diana Spencer. She and we have Brit. I think Brit Garman. She's the author. She's the director, writer. And she acts, she stars in the show, and she did the same on the OA for Netflix. And this one started really well, really beautiful settings, beautiful images, talented acting, good writing. And again, the story is not new. It's in a murder mystery. It's whodunit, but it's very dense and dark in the tone. The mystery is it might even be a tiny little bit scary, different than some other things on the same type of narrative we've seen lately. We saw comedies on Only Murders in the Building and The After Party. This one is like goes deep and goes dark, and there's a lot of people there. Everybody has mysteries. It's not clear the motivations of anyone, but maybe one or two. So I assume they're still going around the other people to find that. But very, very good show. FX again delivering this murder mystery for the AI generation. It's good.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. So that's Murder at the End of the World, and that is on Hulu, right?
Yeah.
It's an FX show.
Yeah, it's there's only 2 episodes there. It's one of those. It's a FX on Hulu. It premieres on FX one night. Next day is on Hulu.
Okay, so go check that out if that's your cup of tea. All right, let's look at the box office for a minute. Last week we talked about Captain Marvel, or the Marvels rather, and they opened to just $6.6 million on Thursday night.
Yeah, it was the worst. It was the worst Thursday night for our MCU movie.
Yeah.
And then after the weekend, they had only 47 million. The worst, by quite a bit, premiere of an MCU movie. Coming in second come The Incredible Hulk. That is debatable. Some people debate if they're actually MCU because it was before, it was pre, it was anyways.
Yeah.
So that one made some 55. This one made 46, so it's much less. And to complete the cycle of fail, the movie had the worst Monday of an MCU movie because you have the weekend and then you have Monday post the weekend. Sometimes, the theater technically for big premieres is expected to have less people, so that brings more people. Also, there's theaters I've read that do promotions. Monday night is cheaper.
Yeah.
All that together, but this one had the worst Monday as well.
Yeah, which is really too bad. Because I feel like these characters, and I'll stand by this, like they had so much potential, and I feel like it just got thrown away.
Yeah, well, it was not a surprise actually.
No.
The numbers were coming from my pre-order tickets, and even before that, it was not expected to perform well, since there wasn't. It wasn't expected. They could invest hard on writing, on directing. They didn't, so that's why this movie is the biggest flop of an MCU, if not the year. And the international numbers also came up. It was like, okay, no, the international market will save us. We're gonna. No, it didn't. Not China, not South America. Everything together, the movie failed on everything.
Yeah, which is a crying shame. And then the next couple of Marvel movies aren't looking like a whole lot more promising. Apparently, Brave New World, the new Captain America movie,
that changed its name. It was a different.
That's right.
It was a different name.
That's not all they changed, though. Apparently,
Yeah.
they've got 6 months worth of reshoots and scene cuts and reworking after some really poor test screenings.
Yeah.
So hopefully they can save it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know of anybody who's like dying for another Captain America movie.
I think it's
But-
I think it's way too soon, because for a lot of people out there, even though I'm not a big fan of Chris Evans as Captain America, after everything that was done with him, he still is Captain America. It's like just to throw to a new character, which granted happened in the book, but it happened in the book of, I don't know, 40, 50 years of Steve Rogers. It's too soon. But they're trying, but apparently not working, because again, reshoots, not a good sign.
Yeah, at least like that much. Because like some reshoots, that's pretty standard, right? Like, oh, we messed up there.
Yeah.
We got to tweak something, but this feels like a lot.
Yeah, reshoots they sometimes they have to do that because someone messed up the lighting, or the actor messed up the line, or they messed up some. We don't have this. We're gonna have to shoot this.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this case, yeah. So, again, Marvel is going through serious problems with everything they make. We heard about Blade and how Blade became like a fourth protagonist on his movie, which is a terrible sign. And then we had rumors that it would never see the light.
Yeah.
And Thunderbolts. Did I put Thunderbolts there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Thunderbolts now announced that Ken, what's the name? What is it?
Stephen
Yeun is gonna be the Sentry, which makes no sense, because the Sentry is this gigantic guy. He's like Marvel's version of Superman. So he's this gigantic guy, tall, super blonde, long hair. They cast an Asian small Asian with short hair. Is
okay.
Anyways, it's something that people out there call it racist, prejudice, but it's a medium, is a visual medium. You have something blue here. If you cannot, when you make live action, if you cannot make it blue, you're already failing on the basics. If you're failing on the basics, how are you gonna do everything else? So again, never. But it's fiction. No, it's visual. Comic books were always visual medium. And if you cannot draw this like you draw this, find another business, because you're screwing it up. Oh, but he's such a good actor.
Or tell a different story.
Yeah.
It's something I've been wondering about. Listening to some of the critique for the Marvels, and then also like the critiques of the critiques, people complaining about like the toxic fanboys and things like that. So I've had this on my mind a lot. Like when you put a title on something, when you say, okay, we're making a movie about the Marvels, Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, all the rest. People who've been a fan of those characters, who've known those characters for a long time, are going to come into it with certain expectations. You're saying, I'm going to give you this. And they're like, okay, great, I'm ready for that. But then when you go through and change a whole bunch of stuff, it's fair for these longtime fans to be kind of upset, because you promised A, but you actually delivered B. And it's a tricky thing with adaptations, and some people get it right and some people don't, and I get that it's really hard to do. But, like, at a certain point, if you're going to change so much, maybe you shouldn't call it that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, maybe just make your own character, make your own story.
There's
room for that.
It's clickbait. It's like you made a terrible show and call it Secret Invasion. It's like, oh, that book was awesome. You're gonna go watch, and there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And it's like you're failing multiple times, because you have a character and then you make a movie or a show for a character, so you're dealing with a character of history. You're doing it with legacy, so you're gonna go and make a property, a movie or a show, and you're gonna bring the fans of those characters, the fans of the show, and that against what Brie Larson saying that the movie is failing because the movie was not made for you. It's like, no, the movie was made, yes, for you, for the fans. So if you screw up, you're gonna lose those fans, and you're gonna lose the prospective new fans, because it's not if it's not as good as the original source material, as the original character, Yeah, it's gonna fail. The reason why the original source material succeeded it because it was so good. If you try to improve it, why try to improve it? You're not that good to improve it. Don't try it. And the Marvels is a sign of that.
Yeah. So adaptation, it's a tricky thing. It's a messy thing, and not everybody gets it right. That's not all that's going wrong over at Marvel. The whole Avengers Kang Dynasty thing is getting complicated. The director, Daniel Cretton, apparently left the project, and they might not even do it because of all the many issues with Jonathan Majors.
Again, the bad guy in real life I was talking about might not be able to be the bit. And it's like the what they did to it on Ant-Man and on Loki. If they were clearly building that for him to be the new big bad guy.
Oh yeah, it was like my favorite thing about the end of the first season of Loki, like the way they set up this great villain. I was like, yeah, I'm in, I'm here for it.
But he's too bad.
But apparently Jonathan Majors is himself a terrible human being, and so that was a colossal bummer.
So Disney is seems to be splitting from that. They're gonna go in a different direction. But we'll see. There's rumors about Doom, Doctor Doom.
Doom could be good. And by good,
again,
I mean bad.
But again, it depends on who they pick for Doom because, and Marvel has the villain problem. It's the irony is they screw up things in a ways that some of the heroes become the villain. If not in the like in Marvels, they did that with Captain Marvel. She was the villain. She was the bad guy. Also in real life that she's a bad guy on failing and blaming the fans. They're paying to go. It's a cycle that doesn't work, and it's clearly there's not working. But so we'll see gonna happen to Kang. I think it's just stupid. They could just recast.
Yeah, and which. I was just thinking that.
Especially since they are variants, they recast and they go, oh, this variant looks nothing like. It's like, no variants look the same, or some stupid line there just to fix the problem. That Marvel does all the time.
Yeah.
And most of the times don't work. But in this case, it's like, we know why it really happened. And,
Yeah, because that storyline, I think that was really interesting. And the first thing since Endgame that, like, really caught my attention with the MCU. So...
Yeah.
Oh well.
To end with the MCU, we saw. I mean, technically, I guess Spider-Verse, Sony, Marvel Universe. It's like it's such a mess now. We saw the trailer for Madame Web. With Dakota Johnson, Sydney Sweeney, Adam Scott is there too.
Yep.
And it's Sony is finding a very interesting ways to explore the Spider-Verse, to explore the rights they have over the Spider-Man and Spider-Verse. And they started with, I think Venom was the first, right? Venom, and then Morbius, and then Venom again, and then comes Craven. They're doing the villains, but they're not really villains. They actually heroes. And so they're doing this again with Madame Web, with an addition of some of the Spider Girls. They are technically not villains, but it's like, okay, yeah.
I don't know the character at all, so I can't like pass any judgment on it as an adaptation. I'm willing to give it a shot, but we'll see.
Sydney Sweeney looks for the part. She looks great as Spider-Woman. On the half-a-second clip we see her. But someone pointed out on the interweb that the character of Dakota Johnson that delivers the worst line of the year. Apparently, everybody is talking about. Everybody is memeing about. It's like, oh, he worked with my parents when my parents went to the Amazon to research spiders. It's like it's a terrible written line, and plus she delivers like, it's like all combined. The internet is like memes everywhere. You should see the one most funniest than the other. From Scarface to Godfather to Lord of the Rings, everybody's speaking that line. It's beautiful, considering that it's such a poor line. But anyways, a character sees the future. She has visions. So someone pointed out, it's like, yeah, I totally agree with that. If I had seen the trailer first, I would probably think the same. I didn't see the trailer until not long ago, until after I saw that line. But the guy suggests that since she sees the future, the girls I think it's 2 Spider Woman, and I think there's 1 Spider Girl. One they swapped the race. One was a red hair again, and they made her black, so not surprised. And I think there's the other one is Asian, so they made very diverse. But anyways, so because Dakota Johnson sees the future, well, first of all, someone was saying that Adam Scott might be Uncle Ben. So I couldn't see anything on the trailer to point that that's on the past enough for him to be Ben. But anyways, but the thing that I agreed was that since she sees the future, that the scenes we see the girls in uniform, in suits, there's actually a future that will never come in the movie. So cheap tease, expecting to get a franchise out of that, which at Sony, it might happen. They did a second Venom. They're going to do a third Venom. I guess Sony is up for any crumbles coming from the MCU stable. And yeah, but we'll see. It's there's a villain there that doesn't make quite a lot of sense, but I guess who needs a villain, right?
They don't always make a lot of sense, but some movies do a much better job of writing and selling them than others do. And I don't know. We'll see.
Oh, you mean like the Marvels, the Spaceballs plot?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were sucking.
Yeah, taking the atmosphere. No, but I was thinking even of other like Spider-Man villains. Like, they're not always terribly believable.
Oh yeah, no. He has the worst, like the Spot.
Yeah, what the heck? But when you write it well enough, like you're in the world, you buy it, you take it seriously. Like it
it's
works.
suspense disbelief, but
some people pull it off, and others just don't. And we'll see where this one is.
Some of the writing it's so mixed with crappy social politics of the day. There's like, oh, I believe in the bad guy until you made him, fight for the environment or some crap like that. Anyways,
we shall see. Well. Disney is still getting everything they can out of their successful franchises. Bob Iger has said that Frozen 4 is already in the works. But wait, Chelsea, I haven't seen Frozen 3 yet. You're right, nobody has. So there's going to be a lot more Frozen coming.
They're gonna work, I guess, back to back. If anything. But again, balls for that have left Hollywood for a long time. I guess Tom Cruise still has some of those. But if they're doing back to back, they could totally end Frozen 3 in a huge cliffhanger, to 4. Because you don't even have to wait 2 years. They do the summer release and then the Christmas release, so you only have to wait not even 6 months.
Yeah,
but we'll see. It's not like we are dying for another Frozen, anyways.
No, but it's one. At least a third one will probably do okay, just because it is so beloved among younger children.
Yeah, I don't know. Those younger children, by 2 years from now, they might be old enough that Frozen. Okay,
that's true.
It's a sweet spot, not sweet spot. It's a bitter spot. It's not old enough to have the nostalgia, and is also not close enough to capitalize on the proximity.
The same audience. Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll find out. Netflix is doing great though. Their One Piece adaptation beat out Ahsoka as the most in-demand series premiere of the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, that show is amazing.
Yeah,
that show is good.
It was. That's how you do an adaptation.
Everything beautifully made by the majestically speaking, the images, the photography, the soundtrack, the cast, and how they dress and how they look. And visual effects. It still just
blows my mind how they made anime live action and it still looked like anime, but was also like believable and palatable in live action. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it was good.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and there's the sequel for The Last Airbender, right? Coming in February. Avatar: The Last Airbender coming in February, and I mean, it looks good.
Yeah, it's looking good to like longtime fans and potential fans alike, which I think is a really good sign. I'm still hesitant to like put all my hopes and dreams in that basket, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it doesn't have to look perfect or great to all the original fans. It has to look good for the majority of them, because the one thing is you're never gonna appease, you're never gonna please everybody.
That's true.
But if you're doing something that the majority of the fans of the original, and I mean the original, not people that start watching the show now because there's a live action coming, but the original fans, if you are able to do that on books, comic books, animated series, you're doing it right. But when the majority is saying this is wrong, this sucks, and you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, well, I gotta say, the trailer that they released for Avatar, it looks right, it sounds right. What can I say? It's very promising.
I mean, it's weird. I didn't see any gigantic blue characters.
Yeah.
How's Avatar without the Navi?
Oh my gosh. Do you want to get on that soapbox? 'Cause I can.
No.
I totally can. They were coming out with these at the same time, and they were going to call the show just Avatar, but then they realized that James Cameron was dropping a movie called Avatar. They're like, okay, fine, The Last Airbender. And then he comes out with his sequel that's like, no, it's Avatar, but with the water people. And then they're like, okay, if he does one about fire people next, we riot. And what does he announce?
Yeah, it's something about fire, right?
Oh my gosh.
Fire Nation.
Yeah. There's something like volcano ash. Anyway.
Yeah.
We shall see. More good news from Netflix. Bobbi.
But will the Netflix have a pregnant woman fighting?
Avatar: The Last Airbender does so much. As a cartoon made for Nickelodeon, did so much more for female empowerment than James Cameron has ever done.
James Cameron's fans are gonna hate us.
Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes the truth hurts, okay?
Anyways.
More good news from Netflix. Millie Bobby Brown is coming back for season 3 of Enola Holmes. That is in development.
Yeah.
So
it's I guess it's a good thing. I
think it's a good thing.
We like both, and she's talented. Let's see what they come up with next.
Yeah. Okay. Some bummers. Las Vegas Sphere, which I don't know if you've seen this on like social media or anything. It's crazy. It looks so cool, and has also
people
reported,
that see from the airplanes, they say it looks cool from up there too.
It's crazy. Has lost almost $100 million.
Jeez.
And their CFO, he just quit.
I'm out.
Yeah. So that's not great. But I guess not everybody wins in Las Vegas, right? Okay, Young Sheldon is ending after 7 seasons on CBS.
The next season premieres in, I think, February. The seasons are all messed up because of the strike.
Yeah. Honestly, that's way more than I thought it was going to have.
Yeah.
So, good for them. Netflix did cancel Shadow and Bone, Glamorous, Agent Elvis, Farzar, and Captain Fall.
Yeah. A lot of cuts.
Yeah.
It's expected, they're going to have to pay for the strike demands. And, you lose some, win some. It might be losing more. Who knows? But, yeah.
Yeah. Strange New Worlds was postponed due to the strikes, but they did announce they're back they will be back in production in December.
Yeah. But there's not a... When was the show ended? No, the show ended this year. So next season should be next year. So I guess it's on
So it'll
time.
come, I think, next summer. I think is when they want to release. Don't quote me on that, though.
Yeah.
So basically, that stuff that was delayed it's starting to come back. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Netflix. Just a little bit more from Netflix. They're doing an Antoine Fuqua movie starring Denzel Washington as General Hannibal.
Yeah, of course that's gotten some controversy because it's Denzel Washington. But of course, some people are liking it because, well, it's Denzel Washington. So, but that I guess but he did Shakespeare. It's like, yeah, but Shakespeare's...
That was my first thought. The guy's an
It's
unbelievable
But this is a real
Shakespearean
character.
actor. So,
But this is a real character. So, we'll see. I'm not gonna boycott. I guess it's very rare when we boycott things, but okay, whatever. You guys do whatever. But for me, the main problem is if someone does the different, it's like the word ends. If you make a movie about Martin Luther King and cast Ryan Johnson.
Oh my god.
No, Ryan Gosling. With Ryan Johnson would be even worse.
That would be so
one
strange.
I wouldn't watch.
Yeah.
With Ryan Gosling, it's like that. It's like that meme, right? It's like there's only two parties: my party and the Nazi party.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I could see that.
Yeah. So, anyways.
But again, it's Denzel Washington. Like, I have a really hard time getting mad about Denzel Washington being cast as anything because he's such a good actor.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying. I see the problems.
Yeah, I mean, I still, he does work great with Fuqua.
Yeah,
he worked with him before on the Equalizer trilogy, and of course, right back in the days of Training Day.
Yeah,
they work great together. But I want to see how I'm honestly more curious about. A warrior king, emperor, how are they going to deal with that? They're going to go for the route of historicity. They're going to go try to tell a story like similar to what they do in Napoleon and they've been done in other movies too, or they're going to keep it intimate. I don't know. I'm really curious about it. Yeah, but we'll see.
I don't know. Okay, Alec, this is one you mentioned boycotts earlier. I don't know if I want to see this. They've started a production on Rust again. This is the one where Alec Baldwin fired what was supposed to be a prop gun and ended up killing the cinematographer. They're working on a new one, and Alec Baldwin is back firing prop guns and talking about crew safety. No. Isn't that it?
No.
New Rust?
No. There's not any.
Okay. So scratch everything you just said. I grossly misread the copy.
Yeah. No, what it means is there's a court that wanted to bring the case back.
Right.
And they found footage of Alec Baldwin watching a safety gun video where it's saying that firing prop guns advising on crew safety. So basically he saw a safety video, a safety training about how dealing with camera or with guns on set. So he has no excuse. He was trained for that specific crew, that specific movie. So if he was on his cell phone or if he wasn't paying attention or making jokes or drunk or whatever, he has no excuse. So it's one of the things.
Okay.
The court is deciding to bring the case back, and it should become out any second now. If this is gonna come or not, again, it's reaching powerful. It might not do anything, but we'll see.
Got it. Okay, well that's much better than what I thought that said. Okay. Anyway, another example of Hollywood sticking with their old standby is Jimmy Kimmel is going to host the 2024 Oscars.
Yeah, so not that it's like, Jimmy Kimmel, whatever. It's like, yeah. So, yeah. No Kevin Hart still, and of course they're not going to bring back, what's the British guy? What's his name?
Oh, Ricky Gervais.
It's like, who cares if the audience there are like they're having a hard time? The audience that watch the show love it. It would not. The numbers would go like really up. Yeah. Kimmel is probably gonna go down again.
It's safe, I guess. Elon Musk is getting a biopic at A24.
Yeah, by Darren Aronofsky. So this sounds super weird. Aronofsky has some really weird, not saying bad, but really weird movies. Of course, he has bad. The Noah one was, anyways. But yeah, we'll see what happens when it comes.
Okay. Apparently, there's a Highlander remake.
Yeah, with Henry Cavill.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna reuse the Queen songs from the original movie.
Yeah, that's like no brainer, man. Come on.
I mean, to me, it kind of begs the question, like, why are we remaking this? Far be it from me to object to Henry Cavill with a sword in anything.
But
like, why?
I mean, it makes money, and I guess it's time for more. And since they kind of closed the story on the original franchise, I don't know, but it's always good if it's done well. And this one is a no-brainer. If you stick to the source material, they'll come up with weird things. You know.
But like, if you stick too close to the source material, why are you making a new one?
Because now we have 6K cameras, which we didn't have.
Oh.
Also, the audiences will pay to watch. And again, if you stick to such material, the original audience will see with their kids, grandkids, etc. And they go watch, and they're gonna recommend. If we screw up, you lost the original. And if you do well, also you're gonna get new audiences. If we screw up, you lose the original audience, and you're not gonna make us good of new audiences, aka Assassin's Creed. You lost everybody because you did such a terrible adaptation.
Sure. Okay. Well, if you're gonna make more of a franchise,
I think 30 years is a good.
That depends on the whole concept. It's like built on the whole concept of there can be only one.
Yeah.
You better be bringing something fresh. I just need to be proved to me why we need a new one. And Henry Cavill with a sword is not quite a good enough reason. Almost.
There can only be one, but they made like 3 movies. 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're pushing it. They're pushing it. Okay, Bobbi. So apparently, what happened on this Delta flight?
So this lady, she's a Christian singer. She was getting to a plane. She was born in a plane. And singing, she has a beautiful voice, she has beautiful songs, and then she received a notice from a friend or from the news, whatever, that she was nominated for 2 Grammys, and she was singing, and in the audience, and the people sitting at the plane, the plane got delayed, had to go back to fix something, so she started singing for her pleasure, and I guess to entertain other people, and the people clapped and liked it, and there was technically no problem about it, but then came the jerk of the flight attendant and told her to stop, to be quiet, and she's like, but why? I'm just singing quietly here. The other passengers are not complaining. What's the problem? I'm not bothering anyone. He's like, you're bothering me. I'm the leader of this flight, and I'm telling you to be quiet, or I'm gonna take you out of the plane. So yeah, the video went online, and the guy was like, you can tell right away, the guy was a jerk. She was not doing anything wrong.
Yeah.
Well, Delta came up to apologize, and she said it was sad, but I guess it was okay. They shouldn't reprimand or fire the guy, even though he was technically not doing his job. He went beyond that. And that was all over the internet, with dividing attentions between people that said that she shouldn't be singing, and people saying that he was a jerk, which I honestly, on the side of, he was like, wow, it's like someone has a miserable life. But again, I guess there's a little bit of power makes small men, I don't know,
I guess so,
too big for their own sake. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I always try to be mindful that we're only getting a little bit of the story, but I also
there's a video. You can see the whole thing.
I know, but I get that. But like, if my flight was delayed and a Grammy-nominated singer wanted to just sing for a little bit,
right?
I could think of much worse things, like my flight being delayed and nothing happening, which is what's usually happen. I don't know. Oh well, that's too bad. She was really nice about it though. Like, definitely took the high road there. So
Bobbi was her name. Bobbi Storm.
Mm-hmm.
You should check online. Mm-hmm. She has a beautiful voice.
Yeah. Okay, rest. You can rest at ease, Simpson fans. Homer Simpson will continue to strangle Bart.
There you go. Last you could talk about how that would stop. Take that, you woke mob. On your necks.
Is it woke to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't strangle our children?
Is
that woke, or is that just like, hey,
he's
guys?
not who gets life lessons from The Simpsons? They're not trying to teach anything.
That's true. It's true.
That's the thing. You're trying to change things that shouldn't be changed. You try to say, back to the villain thing, making the villain good guys. Like, we need villains to be villains. Otherwise, kids and adults alike will not learn that there's evil in the world, and there is evil in the world. And it's not Homer Simpson striking his kid's neck because Bart cannot die. He's a cartoon character. Anyways, moving on. We have other things to talk.
We do. Okay, what's going on with the Coyote versus Acme thing at WB?
Last week we talked about how they canceled. They shelved the production. There was a finish, just like they did to Scooby-Doo Christmas and they did to Batgirl, I guess that's what it's called. And WB came out and said they're going to allow the movie to be sold. So some other company might be able to buy and sell it to streaming, to theaters. Who knows? That's some congressman that trying to create a whole congressional committee to analyze that. It's like, why they did that? We need to investigate that. So yeah, like they have
Congress. We have other things we all need to do. Like look into retirement homes. Anyway, MGM, Amazon is looking to acquire He-Man.
Yeah, Masters of the Universe, and maybe made a franchise out of that.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
I could think of worse things. What's this FFPP?
FFPP, again on the Marvel masses. So there's rumors that Pedro Pascal would be cast as Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four movie. And the fans, they're tired of it, especially a week after the Marvels, and showing the power of the people and how don't screw our source material, don't screw our beloved characters. We're gonna hunt you down. And there's like trendings of John Krasinski as Reed Richards. Other thing that came out is that one of the reasons why they have all the names, big names that were cogitated to be Reed Richards. One of the reasons that those names are passing on the movie is because it's on the script. It's clear that Reed Richards will not be the main character. He's the secondary character. Sue Richards will be the lead, which is like that's not how the book is. Anyways,
true.
So a lot of people are passing on it. So maybe that's Krasinski pass. We don't know. But so Marvel is scraping the bottom of the battle and apparently want Pedro Pascal, since they tried everybody else between Krasinski.
Bottom of the barrel.
I mean, they had Krasinski,
or is it like a
they had Gyllenhaal,
grab?
they have this Gyllenhaal. I don't think it's only for racial reasons. I think he's a mix of racial and popular, and be willing to be the second, the second character on his own thing, like he's a Mandalorian, like he's on what's the other movie? We just talked about Last of Us, and even on Wonder Woman, he was an awful villain. Awful, I mean, terribly written. Anyways, so there's that.
Okay. Well, in other news, Netflix has spent $70 million redoing the Egyptian theater.
Yeah, if you've been to LA, if you've been to Egyptian, it's a landmark of Hollywood, and Netflix put a lot of money there.
They did. And last but not least, Xbox has announced an edible chocolate controller.
Yeah.
So let the intrusive thoughts win.
For Wonka. It's a Wonka-inspired chocolate controller.
That makes sense.
And yeah, it's...
So like, does it have the electronics in it and everything?
No, of course not. It's edible.
Okay, well, I don't know. You say Wonka,
it's a chocolate controller shaped. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And you know, for Christmas you get an Xbox and the chocolate. You eat the chocolate and play the Xbox. Yeah, I don't know.
Fun stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, I guess that's all. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess that's it for this week. You come back next week. We're gonna watch more of The Murder at the End of the World. There's the Paramount has this new show called The Curse. I think it's from Showtime. And next week you're watching Napoleon. Is Napoleon next week? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Thanksgiving. And you're gonna watch the Apple on IMAX, because that's a good thing about the Marvels, because they failed in the box office. It's like the theater owners was like, let's put something else on IMAX. It's sad. There was the screening we went to IMAX. It was like not even close to 1/4 full. It probably had 30 people, and I keep checking the numbers and yeah, one could hope that they would do their homework and they would do better in the future. but there's no
Do we have reason for that hope?
There's no signs for that yet. But yeah,
Anyway.
they will keep losing money, and we'll keep watching, and come next week with everything we watch. May the force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Bye.
Bye.